Do you know that the brown bottle sitting in your medicine cabinet right now could save a dying plant, boost your seed germination, and stop root rot in its tracks? You've probably been told hydrogen peroxide is just for cuts and scrapes, that it's too harsh to use around plants, that you need special garden-grade products to fix problems like root rot or moldy soil. None of that is true. Today I'm counting down 6 real ways to use ordinary hydrogen peroxide in your garden. From simple and useful, all the way up to the one that's genuinely saved plants I thought were already gone. We're counting down from good to absolutely essential. And number 2 on this list is the one I almost didn't believe myself until I used it on a houseplant that was sitting in soggy, smelly soil and looked 1 week away from the compost pile. Stick around to the end, because I'll also cover the one mistake that turns this helpful trick into something that can actually hurt your plants. And it's an easy one to make if nobody warns you. Welcome to Senior Green Haven. So glad you found us. This channel is about one thing: helping you grow a garden that feels like your own sanctuary, using simple, affordable methods that actually work. If that's the kind of gardening life you're building, hit subscribe and tap the bell so you never miss the tips and kitchen secrets we share here. Let's get into it. Coming in at number 6, using hydrogen peroxide to sterilize your garden tools, pots, and seed trays between uses. This one opens the list because it's the simplest, and it prevents problems before they ever start. Fungal spores and bacteria can linger on pruning shears, pots, and trays long after you've moved on to a new plant, quietly spreading disease from one season to the next. Here's the surprising part. Hydrogen peroxide breaks down into just water and oxygen after it reacts, which makes it a genuinely effective sanitizer without leaving behind harsh chemical residue the way some cleaners do. How to DIY. Mix 1 part standard 3% hydrogen peroxide with 1 part water. Wipe down pruning shears, trowels, and other tools between plants, especially after cutting anything diseased. Soak empty pots and seed trays for about 10 minutes, then rinse and let air dry. Design tip: do this every time you move between different plants when pruning, not just at the end of the season. That's when disease actually spreads. Cost reality. A bottle of hydrogen peroxide costs about $1 to $2 and sanitizes tools for months. Total, pennies. For tool sanitizing, that specialty garden disinfectant sprays charge $10 to $15 a bottle for. Coming up, a use for hydrogen peroxide that tackles a problem almost every gardener who starts seeds indoors runs into eventually. Number 5. Using hydrogen peroxide to prevent damping off. That frustrating fungal issue where young seedlings suddenly collapse at the soil line for seemingly no reason. Here's what most people don't realize. Damping off is caused by fungal pathogens that thrive in the warm, consistently moist conditions seed trays need to germinate. The very environment that helps seeds sprout is also perfect for the fungus that kills them. How to DIY. Mix 1 tablespoon of 3% hydrogen peroxide into 1 cup of water. Lightly mist the soil surface of your seed trays once every few days, especially right after watering. Continue until seedlings have their first true leaves and are past the most vulnerable stage. Design tip: good airflow matters just as much here. Combine this with a small fan running nearby to keep air moving across your seedlings. Cost reality. A few cents worth of peroxide per misting session. Total, pennies. For seedling protection, that specialty damping off prevention, sprays charge $10 to $12 for. Next, a trick that can noticeably speed up how fast your seeds sprout in the first place. Number 4. Soaking seeds in a diluted hydrogen peroxide solution before planting. Here's why this works. A light peroxide soak can help soften tough outer seed coats, and it also helps sanitize the seed surface, reducing the risk of mold taking hold before the seed even has a chance to sprout. Faster water absorption plus a cleaner start often adds up to quicker, more even germination. How to DIY. Mix 1 tablespoon of 3% hydrogen peroxide into 2 cups of water. Soak seeds for no more than 20 to 30 minutes. This isn't a long soak like some other methods. Rinse briefly and plant as usual. Design tip: stick to the time limit. Seeds are delicate, and a longer soak doesn't improve results. It just increases the risk of damaging them. Cost reality: a few cents per batch of seeds. Total: pennies. For a germination boost that specialty seed priming products charge $8 to $10 for. Coming up, a use that matters most for anyone who roots cuttings or propagates plants at home. Hey, quick pause right here. If you're finding this useful, smash that like button. It genuinely helps this reach more gardeners who want simple, affordable solutions instead of expensive specialty products. Tell me in the comments, did you know hydrogen peroxide had this many garden uses before this video? I read every comment. We've got 3 more to go. And this is where it gets impressive. Keep watching. Number 3, using hydrogen peroxide in the water when rooting cuttings. If you've ever propagated a plant in a jar of water, you already know the frustration of watching a cutting rot before it ever grows roots. Stagnant water is low in oxygen and a perfect environment for the bacteria that cause that rot. Here's the surprising part. A small amount of hydrogen peroxide releases oxygen directly into the water as it breaks down, which helps keep the rooting environment healthier and less hospitable to the bacteria working against you. How to DIY. Add 1 tablespoon of 3% hydrogen peroxide to 1 quart of water. Use this mixture in your propagation jar instead of plain water. Refresh the mixture every few days as you normally would when changing propagation water. Design tip: keep the cuttings leaves above the water line, submerging only the stem. This reduces rot risk on its own and works even better paired with the peroxide. Cost reality: a few cents per water change. Total: pennies. For a rooting boost, that specialty cloning gel and rooting solutions charge $10 to $20 for. Coming up, the most dramatic use on this entire list. One that can rescue a plant you've genuinely written off. Number 2. The one I teased at the start. Using hydrogen peroxide to rescue a plant sitting in soggy, waterlogged, oxygen-starved soil. This is the one that saved a houseplant I genuinely thought was finished. It had been overwatered for weeks, the soil smelled sour, and the roots were clearly struggling. Waterlogged soil pushes air out of the spaces roots need to breathe, and roots that can't get oxygen start to suffocate and rot, even though the plant is sitting in plenty of water. Here's why this works. Hydrogen peroxide releases oxygen as it breaks down in the soil, giving suffocating roots a temporary but genuinely useful burst of the oxygen they've been missing, while you also fix the underlying drainage problem. How to DIY. Mix 1 tablespoon of 3% hydrogen peroxide into 1 quart of water. Water the plant with this mixture in place of a normal watering. At the same time, address the real cause. Improve drainage. Let the soil dry out appropriately and hold off on watering again until it's needed. Design tip: this treats the emergency, not the root cause. Fix your watering habits and soil drainage alongside this, or the same problem will just return. Cost reality: a few cents per treatment. Total: pennies. For a rescue treatment that root rot recovery products charge $15 to $25 for. And now, the final one. The use that ties every other benefit on this list together. Number 1. Using a diluted hydrogen peroxide spray as a mild, general fungal treatment across your garden. This is the most transformative use on this list because it's the thread connecting everything above it. Sterilizing tools to stop disease from spreading, protecting seedlings from fungal collapse, keeping cuttings rot-free and rescuing suffocating roots. This final use extends that same disease-fighting effect out across your whole garden, on the leaves and soil surface of established plants. Here's the surprising part. Hydrogen peroxide can help address the early, mild stages of common fungal issues, like powdery mildew on the soil surface or on leaves, though it works best as an early intervention rather than a cure for a severe, established infection. How to DIY. Mix 1 tablespoon of 3% hydrogen peroxide into 1 quart of water. Spray lightly on affected leaves and the surrounding soil surface in the early morning or evening. Repeat every few days if mild symptoms persist, watching closely for improvement. Design tip: catch it early. This works far better as a first response to early spotting or mild mildew than as a last resort on a plant that's already heavily infected. At that point, you may need to remove the most affected leaves entirely. Cost reality: a few cents per spray session, from the same $1 to $2 bottle you started with. Total? Pennies. For a fungal treatment that commercial fungicide sprays charge $12 to $20 a bottle for. This one doesn't just solve one problem. It's the same principle: extra available oxygen and a mild antimicrobial effect, working across every stage of your garden, from seed to soil to leaf. Here's the caution I promised, and it matters. Hydrogen peroxide is genuinely useful in the diluted amounts we've covered today, but going stronger is not better. Using it at full strength or reaching for anything above the standard 3% concentration sold at most pharmacies can burn roots and damage plant tissue instead of helping it. Every method in this video uses a small amount diluted into water. Stick to those ratios, and don't be tempted to make a stronger mix thinking it'll work faster. It won't. It'll just cause the exact damage you're trying to avoid. So there you have it. 6 real ways 1 ordinary bottle from your medicine cabinet can support a healthier garden, from seed to harvest. From sterilizing your tools between plants to reviving a waterlogged houseplant I genuinely thought was gone, to using it as an early, mild defense against fungal problems across your whole garden. This is one of the most versatile, affordable tools you already own and probably didn't know it. Completely simple. Completely affordable. Completely worth trying this week. Which one are you trying first? Sterilizing your tools, boosting your seed germination, or rescuing an overwatered plant? Tell me your plan in the comments. If you're not subscribed yet, now is the time. Come join a community of gardeners finding simple, real solutions instead of expensive specialty products. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. Now get out there and grow something amazing. I'll see you in the next one.